y'all, it's Allie from Little Hill Homestead. Today is pear processing day. I was supposed to do this earlier in the week, and it actually worked out that it got pushed off because our pears are perfectly ripe now. These are the transitional pears from Azure Standard that we got in our last order. I have 20 pounds of pears, and I thought I would show you really quickly kind of how we process them. I'm going to do a huge batch of pear sauce. That's the easiest thing for me. I don't really use sliced pears or things like that, but this is what we do. And then I'm going to show you, of course, how we use our scraps and what we are going to do with our scraps. What are these called? Stems? Insides? Cores! My word. So I have my roaster pan. I've already started a bunch of these, but I wanted to show you kind of what we found the easiest way to do this. We were hoping we'd be able to use our apple peeler, the little countertop one we have. That was a no-go. These are perfectly ripe, so it kind of just mutilated them. So we have, it's like an apple core like that, or I believe this is maybe a jalapeno core, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. But we just took this, we went from the bottom side up, and it took the cores right out of them. Then I'm just using a vegetable scraper, vegetable peeler. That's what it's called. We have one from Rada. If you guys haven't checked out Rada Cutlery, they sell it. Well, they're going to start carrying on Azure, but they're only going to have the black handled stuff. We have a bunch of the stainless steel. We've had this stuff since we got married. We got it from a family friend for our wedding. And then we've added to our collection. Super reasonable, and they're literally like the best knives in the world. So I'm just gonna take that and shoot it across the kitchen. Oh, now I'm squirting myself in the face. This is the wrong day. So Sean and I both wear contacts and glasses, and we decided it was time to get new glasses. Well, we're just at the perfect age now where they decided, you could probably use a reader basically at the bottom of it. And so they told us to wear glasses for the next couple days while our eyes got used to it. So you guys get to see me in all my glory. Do I not look like Lisa Loeb? I thought these were so cute. They're actually like eggplanty purple color up close. But anyways, so I'm just going to peel all these 20 pounds of pears. I did put a little bit of water in with this just so it doesn't brown. This I'm going to use up. I'm going to get it going really quick, so I don't need anything on there yet. But I'm going to show you guys, basically, we're going to make pear sauce. Super easy. I use the same recipe, except I lower the sugar as I do for my applesauce. So I have that on the channel somewhere too. And then, so I'm going to get that going in our roaster to go. And then I'm going to show you guys how to make, you guys have seen us make apple scrap vinegar. We make pear scrap vinegar too. Pear scrap vinaigrette out of that on a spinach salad is like something special. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is how to, because we don't need all the cores for that. The rest of them, I'm going to show you how to make pear juice. Basically, you boil them down with some sugar and stuff. You can make pear cider if you prefer. I think we're going to stick with pear juice. I don't know. It depends on how much peels and stuff I ended up with. But that's kind of the plan for the day, you guys. So it's pear processing day. It's like peach processing day that we recently had. And then you guys will soon, again, have apple processing day. I'm trying to think if there's any recipes. Anyways, you guys know that we got 20 pounds of apples. Well, we ended up getting another 20 pounds elsewhere. So we now have 40 pounds of apples to process. We go through a lot of applesauce, so that's cool. We'll use most of it for that. I don't really do like the slices and stuff, so we'll probably skip that. And then we've done apple scrap vinegar on the channel. Then we've also done apple butter I can't even remember what we've done on the channel. So I'm going to see if there's any apple stuff we have not done, but I do want to show you how we dehydrate them and make an apple pie seasoning out of them, and definitely going to make some apple cider with some peels. So that's a different video. But for the pears, we're just going to keep peeling until we're done peeling. What's awesome is these are literally just soft enough that this is like the easiest thing in the world. I will say, last year I was lazy. I had some really organic pears that a friend of mine gave me, and they were kind of not straight to be able to peel. So I left the peels on last year, and I thought, oh, it's fine. There's nutrients in the peel, which there is. It did leave it a little gritty, though. And so this year I decided I'm going to peel them. Plus, I was excited because I have all these recipes. This thing is literally squirting on my face. Stop it. I know I could go away from me, but it just doesn't work as well for me. I don't know. Whatever you choose. I know a lot of people peel backward. Peel it however you want, dang it, people. There's no rhyme or reason to it. My hands are completely covered in pear stuff. This is a slippery mess, but somebody's got to do it, right? Anyways, I'm going to get these peeled, and then I'll bring you back to show you how we're going to process them all. Be right back. I'm probably going to have to wash my face in the middle of this too because I have so many spots. You can't even tell. Anyways, we'll be right back. Okay, guys, we are over. I told you we have multiple things going on today. So my husband's making white chicken chili and putting that in one of our crock pots. So that's what this mess is. Just, it's fine. Just ignore it. By the way, we got new glasses. Don't I look like Lisa Loeb? Okay, so we have our pears in here and I have our roaster at 350 degrees. I'm going to add to this half of a cup, maybe just a slight bit more, right around a half a cup of lemon juice. Kind of toss it around. That's going to keep everybody from browning. So I just slowly, or can you even see? Yeah, you can see. Looks like I have a big thing of potatoes, to be honest. Then I'm going to add, this is where you can make this to your liking, basically. Like I said, these are really sweet already, so I don't want to over sweeten them. I have done that before and it almost tastes like pie filling. We don't want to do that. So you can do anywhere from 1 to 3 cups of sugar. I start with a little bit less and then I taste it before I can it to make sure I don't need more. That's just the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to do probably 1 cup of sugar. Just sprinkle it all around. Whoop, not out the side of the pan would be better. And then I'll keep that close by so that if I want to add more, I can. Then salt. I like to add a little bit of salt to it to counteract the sweet thing. I, for this huge batch, would do maybe like 2 teaspoons. And again, just going to sprinkle it around. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of water to the bottom just so that we aren't going to have pears stuck to the bottom of this while it's heating up. And that's it. I might turn my roaster down just a little bit if I'm finding that it's like getting a little too hot too quickly. And then I'll take a masher and kind of mush these down, technical term, as they are starting to soften. A lot of them are already soft, so hold on, let me see. Of course, why would my potato masher be in the drawer it's supposed to be in? Oh, it is. I really need to clean my kitchen. I have a lot of gadgets. Somebody was asking recently, like, where do you keep all your gadgets? And I was like, all right, so we have a laundry room that we have gadgets in. My husband has built out both sides of our island to store stuff in. And then the other room where we have our long-term food storage, we have some gadgets in there. We keep them everywhere. And then there's a long cabinet behind me. We have a pretty big kitchen. So we were lucky to have lots of places to store stuff. But we also have a million kitchen tools that normal people maybe don't have, like a meat slicer that's a commercial meat slicer. You know, things that you may or may not need in an average household. We don't eat out. We cook everything at home. So we like to have our gadgets. That's kind of our little treat for ourselves. Like some people, it's purses and shoes. For me, it's kitchen tools. So I'm just giving these a little mash to get them going. I just don't want them to burn to the bottom. So this is going to release a little bit. That's a tough one. Release a little bit of those juices so that we can get it moving. All right. It's a good thing these are pretty soft though, you guys. Like they're mushing pretty easy. Anyway, okay, I'm going to put a lid on this. I'm going to check it probably every 10 to 15 minutes until it's like at a comfortable temp and I don't feel like it's going to burn or anything. And then I'm just going to let it continue to break down. It'll take, honestly, it could take 30 minutes to 2 hours. It really just depends on how ripe your pears are. So that is that. We're going to let it just do its thing. So I'll have the recipe below. I will have it in this big 20 pounds of pears, and then I'll have it for 4 pounds because that's what I usually do for applesauce. Okay, on to the next thing. I'm going to bring you guys back to the other counter to show you probably pear scrap vinegar first. Let's do that because it's easy. And then I'll know what I have left to do other things with. Okay, let's just go. Okay, guys, I moved you to my island, but I also went and got our apple scrap vinegar from out of our closet. So this is what it looked like after. You remember the apple scrap vinegar? Maybe I'll link it if I can remember. This is after it was strained out, and that's our mother. We actually have 2 floating around in there. I don't know if you can tell. One from the original jar from before I strained it is sitting here. And then once it went into the closet, it formed a second one. So we have actually 2 going on in there. But that's our apple scrap vinegar. It literally tastes like a light apple cider vinegar. It's not as intense. It's not as acidic. I like to use it in recipes that you need apple cider for, not canning. Because, oh, you guys, this is a day. My husband's in here making white chicken chili. So if you see him wandering around, it's cool. I know him. Our apple cider vinegar it's great in vinaigrettes and things like that because it has an apple flavor, where I feel like if you use something like this, you don't really taste apple in it. It just tastes like vinegar. So either way, for our new batch, for our pear scrap vinegar, I'm going to use the same process I did for the apple scrap vinegar. So I have a gallon pickle jar that I got at a thrift store. You can use any jar, doesn't really matter. And yeah, here we go. So to it, I'm going to add, it's about, when I say glugs of apple cider vinegar, I'm going to do like that much apple cider vinegar. It helps escalate it to produce a vinegar faster if it has, like, basically I'm using that as a mother to get it going. To that, I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm eyeballing it, so that's probably 4 right there. I'm going to give that a little swirl to get our sugar into our vinegar. There you go. I'm going to add our scraps from however much I want. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of grab and go, that looks good. These were just soaking in water, which we're just going to add distilled water anyways, so it's fine if it just gets messy. Really, you want probably the cores and peels from about 15 apples in total. So that's about a good amount for it to get its stuff going. Add a little bit more. That's probably good, you guys. That leaves me a little bit to make a small batch of juice. So we'll make our juice out of what's in here. So all I'm going to do is fill this to the top with water. I use water from our Berkey, so it's like a distilled water. And then I lightly put the lid on, and then I stick it over in the corner, and I give it a stir. Thank you. I give it a stir every day for about, 10 days. It'll bubble, it'll do its thing, and when it kind of settles down and is no longer bubbling, or you don't see like little stuff coming up, I strain it off, and I do the same thing. I put it in a mason jar, and I stick it in the closet until it's ready to use. You can tell when it's ready because it just tastes like you want it. There you go. So that is pear scrap video. That's pear. Say the words, lady. That is pear scrap vinegar. I didn't think that would be hard to say, but apparently it is what it is. So I'm going to go load this up with some water and stick it on the counter, and then I'm going to show you guys pear juice. I'm going to check it on our apple. Oh my word. There's no apples involved in the making of this video. So if I say it again, just know that I meant pear. You don't need to tell me below. I already know. Okay, I'm gonna go fill this with water. All right, guys, my husband's gonna be jumping in and cooking at the same time as me, so this should be fun. Into a large pot, I'm gonna be adding whatever scraps we have left from our pears. This is how we are gonna make pear juice, basically, is what I'm making. I take all the scraps, take them out, put them in there. Then we need to measure. I did this backwards. That was my bad on that one. We'll just dump this out. I'm not wasting water. You need about a gallon of water, but I want to use the water from our pears because look at how beautiful this is, you guys. It's got all kinds of flavor we don't want to dump off. Okay, so that's 8 cups going in of our original, and then I'm going to add another 8 cups of water, so we're at 1 gallon. So you want the peels and cores of about another 15 apples, which is about half of what we ended up with. So we're doing a 50-50. 50-50. Half are going into those vinegar and half are going into the juice. That's all. What is she talking about? 50-50 what? Okay, so there's that. The next thing we're going to add to that is some sugar because we aren't going to get a ton left over. Like, you want to add some flavor because the pears, you're not using straight pears. There you go. Good Lord. 1 cup of sugar going in. And then to that, because everybody likes a little tartness in their juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is the easiest stuff, you guys, because You're literally going to just bring this to a boil. You're going to boil it for about 30 minutes until it breaks down. I usually get my potato masher and mash it to kind of like get the cores to break up a little bit. And then you strain it off and you put it in the fridge and you drink it like juice. How easy, right? Okay, so I'm gonna let that come to a boil and I'm gonna go check our stuff over there. Okay guys, it's time for a quick check-in. Our pears have been going for literally probably 15 minutes, and I've just hit them. I'm using the edge of a metal spoon to kind of break them down. But see, they're starting to release their liquids. Oops. If you start to see, like, this was a little brown spot on a peel that I couldn't quite get off, they'll just kind of, they'll be fine if you can it with it. It's not a big deal. But if I find those, I just kind of take them out. They make themselves very obvious when you start to get this beautiful, like, consistency going. Like that one, we missed the seeds. There's the seeds from one. So we do our best, but I mean, like, you guys, this is not, I mean, even at the grocery store, you get seeds when you buy applesauce, right? Who doesn't? So I just have this going and I'm slowly giving it some stirs. I'm just gonna put the lid back on her. Let it go for a few more minutes. Ouch, that got hot. My juice is just starting to boil. So I'm gonna let that go for about 30 minutes, just give or take. I added my water to the top, like that far, on our pear scrap vinegar, woman, goodness. My lid is tight so that I can flip it over. The sugar that was sitting at the bottom, I've just kind of swirl it around and make sure it gets evenly distributed through your stuff. And then I loosen the lid so that you get air going in there. It needs air to do its thing. So you can either put a fabric cover on it, or I just literally just keep this on and do, I mean, it's not airtight. It's just on there. So I'm just going to push that to the side. And that, you guys, is done. Literally all you do, I use a wooden spoon. Once every morning while I'm making my tea, I give this a stir. It's going to get bubbly. It's going to get beautiful. You want to stir it so that the ones on top are going to get brown, the peels. Get them down to the bottom so they don't get mold or anything like that. And like I said, go for like maybe 7 to 10 days. It'll get rid of all of the bubbles. It'll get rid of all of the action. When it's just doing nothing, strain it off. That's your pear scrap. It's really not difficult to do. While I'm over here, I wanted to give you guys a check-in on a couple other things while I was doing a check-in for the apple scrap vinegar. I thought, what other things have you asked about that I haven't done a check-in with? So our oregano oil, do you guys remember we made oregano oil, I don't know, over a month ago. We strained off the oregano. I put it in these little dropper bottles. I used one of these cute little labels from this label machine that one of you guys awesomely gave me. And all I do is literally, like, our seasons are changing in Georgia right now. When it does that, I get sinus pressure really bad, and I don't want to get in a sinus infection. So I do a couple drops of it. I just put it in my mouth like 3 or 4 times a day. That's a high amount. I don't use it like that all the time. But that's our oregano oil. There you go. I just keep that here so I remember to take it. So our fire cider was another one that you guys had asked about. This just sits over here too. It looks like this once it is strained. Before I use it, this lid is tight. I just give it a shake, you guys, to get all that back distributed into it. That's your horseradish and all the good stuff that we had in there. I've told you guys about these measuring cups a million times. They're like less than $2 at Walmart. They're quarter cup, but it's got tablespoons on the side. I just use one of those and I do a dunk. And I get about a tablespoon of this every day. It's just like that. See, it's like unfiltered looking. You can taste. It's not bad, you guys. By the way, I did add the honey to it when it was done after I strained it. You can taste the garlic and the horseradish. You can feel the heat, but it's not so hot that you're going to be like, I can't drink that. I find it quite nice. It tastes like vinegar with a little bit of sweetness to it and some heat on the back note. So I do that once every morning as well. So I just keep those close to my coffee pot, teapot, whatever you got. So don't forget, you know? Okay, so that's where we are right now. Our pear scrap vinegar is, let me take these beautiful concoctions that we have made from scratch that are all organic and great, and then stick them with some corn chips to go with dinner. It's all about being equal where you can, right? I mean, I'm not going to say we're perfect because we're far from. We do what we can. Anyways, pear sauce is continuing on. I will hit this with the immersion blender, by the way, before we can it up, but it's doing beautifully. See, it breaks down quite quickly, right? All right, I'm gonna take you back over to the juice. Actually, I'm gonna go set a timer on the juice. And then in 30 minutes, I'll show you where we are on that one. But for now, this is an easy day because these are all things that I can walk away and do other stuff. And we've used literally every part of the pear we will use. And then whatever, after we boil it down, whatever we strain off, I'll throw in our compost, countertop composting that we have outside. So everything is used. A big chunk. Oh my gosh, you guys, our garden for next year, we've already started planning on it. And we're starting to collect some garden beds for it. And slowly, because if you go to do a big garden all at once, the prices are just astronomical. So we're starting to do little bits here and there. A few of you guys have sent me a couple things for our garden, and I'm so ecstatic because our garden next year is going to be bomb. That's all I have to say about that. I'm so excited because it's going to be it's going to be awesome. So we're going to have so much canning stuff next year for you guys using our own products. So boom, I'm so excited. Anyways, while my apple juice is going and while my apple sauce, Lord Jesus, help me remember that this is pears and not apples for the love of you know who. While my pear sauce and my pear juice are going, I'm gonna go do a quick vacuum and make sure that my house is company ready because they could be here at any minute. Oh, I can give you this, by the way. So this is my husband's best friend. He comes and lives with us. He stays with us. He's a long-term guest. When he comes into town, he's here for 2 to 3 weeks most times. So he comes in March and they do March Madness, and he comes in this time of year and they watch football and other stuff. And he's been my husband's best friend since they were very, very young. And they used to sneak out of Sunday school together and, you know, that kind of stuff. But when Sean and I got married, we were 18 years old, and he sort of helped raise our kids. When we were busy, he'd pick them up from daycare. He came over to our house all the time. So my kids call him Uncle, his name. And yeah, so he just comes out for a long term, and we pull out all the stops when he's here. We eat like calories don't matter, y'all. Like it is out of control, but it is fantastically fun at the same time. So anyways, yeah, but he's a phenomenal person. So there you go. Anyways, I'm going to try to get this stuff at least water bath canned before he gets here. If not, he knows kind of how we run things around here. So yeah. Anyways, if I forgot to do a check-in, by the way, on any of our other stuff that you're like, what happened to your blah? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've made that I haven't checked in with you guys on. Let me know. I'll show you. It's around here somewhere. Anyways, I'm going to go vacuum and do a little tiny pickup and make sure that I'm good for company, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, to help break this down faster and faster, it's maybe been a half an hour since we started this, maybe 40 minutes, and it's breaking down beautifully. But like I said, we're in kind of a time crunch, and so normally I would just let it do its thing. And this is honestly falling apart as I'm pushing on it. Anyways, our immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender and you're trying to rush it like I am, you can run through this a regular blender as well. But look for an immersion blender at a thrift store. I have had ours for years. Once you have one, you'll have it forever. Just stick it in a closet and you'll use it for more than you think. So I'm just gonna splatter it on the cabinets and everything else. But basically just see how it just kind of breaks it up nicely, more like the consistency that you're used to from applesauce. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to run over to my juice that has been boiling for like 10 minutes. I'm going to do the same thing on it to kind of break down those cores so that we get the full potential in the juice. Okay, I'm going to go do this. Then our pear, did I call it apple again, you guys? Oh my gosh. I'm going to get our pear sauce finished up just about right, and I'm going to give it a try once I kind of do this part. BRB. Gosh, I gotta stop saying that. BRB. Anyways. Okay, I'm getting my water bath canner on the burner and getting it warmed up. Everything that we made today is going to be able to be water bath canned, including the juice. So I'm going to save some juice in the fridge, and then the rest of it I'm going to can up. You guys know I tell you all the time we do our ginger ale mocktails at night, and so pear juice is going to be super good in them in the fall. So I have, my strainer that I show you guys all the time. It's like this little sieve thing. I'm going to strain. I lined it with I ran out of cheesecloth, y'all. I lined it with a flour sack towel. And so all I'm going to do is pour my pear juice through that, and it's going to strain out everything. So right now it just looks like that. It has a bunch of chunks and stuff at the bottom, but I'm going to pour it to the top like that, and then I'm going to let it strain out. and it'll just strain. It's gonna have some sediment unless you run it through like a nut bag or one of those things like a yogurt strainer or something like that. It's more fine strained. You could have doubled this up as well, but I'm gonna let that strain out, and then I'm gonna put that into jars to can. But in the meantime, our apple. Oh my gosh, woman, stop calling it apples. Pears, our pear stuff. Y'all, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Did I call this apple cider? It's pear juice. For the love of you know who. Anyway, oh my. Oh my, y'all. Anyways, our pear sauce it's done. So I'm gonna get that and bring it over and get it going into our jars. I'm doing pint jars, quart jars, pint jars. What are these? Are they pints or quarts? These ones are pints. We're gonna do it in pints. That's about what Sean and I would eat in one sitting. I don't like to keep it long term in the refrigerator. Once we open it, we like to just use it up and get it gone. So I'm gonna let that strain. It's going kind of slow, and then I'll add more pear juice to that. But let me go ahead and grab our pear sauce. Okay, here's our vat of pear sauce. I ran it through the immersion blender, through it, and got out everything. There's still a few little peels and things in there. I'm okay with that. It's homemade, like I said. So I'm going to fill up our jars, and then I'm gonna get these water bathing. It's gonna take me a couple rounds to get this all done, and that's fine. I'll go do other things while they're going. These take 15 minutes for this pint size. I would look up what the recommendation is if you're doing a larger size. I know a lot of people like to do quarts and stuff like that. We just don't eat it in that high quantity. So I'm gonna fill all these up and continue to strain out my juice, and which also, by the way, cans at the same amount of time. So I can do this and get them all just processed through, and we'll have all kinds of good peariness done. That was like, honestly, this is one of the fastest times I've processed a big amount of stuff, and it's gone pretty smoothly. Apples are much harder to peel, so pears, highly recommend the pears in bulk. Anyways, let me go fill these up. You're gonna leave 1 inch of headspace on the applesauce, maybe just a little bit more than that. The juice, you can do like 3/4 of an inch at the top because it doesn't expand like this kind of stuff does. Somebody was asking me if I debubble. I do debubble. A lot of times I use a chopstick. Thicker things like this, I do with the tap. I tap it on the counter and get those bubbles to come up to the top. That's how I do it. Do what you feel comfortable with. You guys know we all have different canning methods. So do what you like, y'all. Okay, let me go get these things kind of finalized, and I'll bring you back to let you know. Okay, I have my applesauce. Oh, Lord. Is she going to get it ever, this whole video? Like, I need to add like every time I say it wrong, a little, I don't know. We got 12 pear sauces, you guys, in total. So these are beautiful. Isn't that color just amazing? 12 of those, guys. And then for the juice, I have it still straining, but I think we're probably going to end up with, I don't know, maybe just over 8 cups. Which I think is pretty cool because this was just going to be scraps that we're going to throw away, right? I'm all about using what you got. If you guys have watched our channel for any amount of time, I like to use it all. Anything you can from something, use it up, right? Why not? You paid money for that. Okay, so there we go. There's our 4. This is going to strain a little bit more. It's very thick and sludgy, so I'm letting it just go a little bit longer to see if I can get enough to fill the 4th jar. So I'm going to get these water bath canning as soon as it comes to temperature, and we'll start chugging along with that. I did debubble these. I did the tapping method, clean the tops with my vinegar, and I have them fingertip tight. So those are done. I'm going to do the same with these once I get my last jars filled and my juice is finished. And then this, whatever's left is just, I mean, that's just scrap, you guys. Like that's not bad for 20. Oh, I meant to tell you guys too. I kept saying we have 20 pounds of pears. We have 20 pounds of pears. Well, Sean and I ate a bunch of them. A couple got ripe beforehand. And then, I mean, you guys, when there's beautiful pears sitting in your kitchen, it's really hard not to eat them for a week. 5 days, whatever we ended up with. So we did probably eat 1 or 2 pounds of the pears before we made this. So it wasn't a full 20 pounds we started with, but it was really close. Anyways, that is enough pear sauce for our family for the year. So I'm really happy with that. And again, the pear juice is just bonus. So I'm going to get these processing, and then I'll come back to show you Well, I don't know about the final result because this pretty much is the final result. But I'll come back to show you the final result with our quantities. And you know me, I like to do a breakdown. What's cost pear sauce at the grocery store versus what we spent, blah, 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 blah. You know, we'll bring you that in a second. Okay, guys, I have my breakdown for you guys. I have my first batch already in the canner. This is my second round that I'll have in just a minute. We ended up with 6 pint jars of our pear juice. It's just beautiful. Like, it's just juice, y'all. It's tasty. Sean says it's like drinking apple juice, but it tastes like pears. It's not thick or anything. It's just delightful. Anyways, this is what we have. Well, those are not Bounty, apparently. This is all we ended up with when all was said and done. My gosh, I'm making a mess. Boom. That's all we ended up with, you guys. Is that like awesome? This is going to go into my compost pile, so we're fine. Boom. So I wanted to give you guys the breakdown on all that we made today. Okay. So we made our pear sauce, we made our pear juice, and we made our pear scrap vinegar. That takes a little bit of time, but it's fine. So we paid $25.56 for our 20 pounds of pears. Now remember, we ate probably 2 pounds before we got to this point, but we're not going to count those. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. So for our pear sauce, I looked it up locally, and what I found was pear sauce, organic pear sauce is quite hard to find. I was surprised. I found a 22-ounce jar. It was $10, you guys. We did 16-ounce jars, like a pint. So I did math them out so that we did them in ounces. So basically, we used all $25.56 to get our pear sauce, right? So that makes theirs 45 cents per ounce and ours 14 cents an ounce. Talk about like crazy savings, right? So much, much less cost. What's fun is that we ended up with the juice and the scrap basically without, it's all scrap stuff, you guys. Do you see what I'm saying here? So I looked up organic pear juice, and I'm over enunciating pear because I don't want to say apple. 16 ounces of organic pear nectar or juice, whatever you want to call it, is about $3. Ours, because we did have some sugar and some lemon juice and, you know, a little bit of, that was about all involved. Basically ours cost about $1 for 6 jars for the materials we put into it. Theirs is $3 a jar. So 18 versus $1. There you go. And then the vinegar scrap. This is the most impressive of all because you can't find pear scrap vinegar very easily. And so you kind of have to compare it to other pear vinegars, which they consider gourmet. So here's our price difference here, right? So we did 128 ounces. It's basically a gallon of pear vinegar will be just about 128 ounces once all is said and done. It basically cost us $1 for the glug of apple vinegar that we had to use and the little bit of sugar. It's probably less than $1, to be honest. There's 6.75 ounces, a cute little gourmet frosted bottle, is $18.75, you guys. I should have mathed that a little bit differently. But if we have 128 ounces and they have 6.75 for $18 and our cost is $1, like Christmas gifts, I can get a really nice bottle for $18 if I want to pop it in there, right? So that is our video for today, you guys. I'm just going to keep processing what we have left and then put them on our shelf so we have pears all year long. And I'm thinking if they still have pears available next month, I might grab one more box because honestly, of everything we have processed so far, berries and frozen stuff and apples and whatever else I've done, this has been the easiest. So yeah, maybe I'm in like a pear coma at this point. I'm not really sure. So anyways, there you guys go. That was our price breakdown. I'll have the recipes below for you guys, but man, this stuff is really, really tasty. The pear sauce, I did not end up adding any extra sugar, and it is plenty sweet. It is very desserty. It has a vanilla flavor, which I find interesting because we didn't put any vanilla in it. So it's delicious, you guys. I would definitely, if you guys have Azure and you can get a box of these pears, I would definitely do it because the taste is unlike anything I can get local to our house, like by a lot. So I'm super excited. Okay, I'm gonna go put this in the compost. not make a big old mess, but like that's smaller than one pear. Anyways, that's it, you guys. Thank you for watching. As always, we appreciate you guys. And if you have anything else you want to see us can or make for you guys, comment below. We'd love to hear your ideas. Now I gotta go do dishes. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for watching.